Having somewhat miraculously put ourselves in a position to take the title, could we complete the job and possibly even claim a League and Cup double? With some tough fixtures to come, we'd need to keep our great form of the previous 2 months going. We were made aware before kick-off of the threat that CD Jatta, great name, posed, but it seems that warning was not heeded, as it took him only 5 minutes to put us behind, beating 3 defenders to head home. He continued to dominate our defence in the air, and on 37 minutes headed in a second. We made the better chances, but it was only when Velez was pushed in the area that we were able to find a way to close the gap, Heltner Nielsen putting the ball beyond Seung from the spot. It was too little too late though, and our advantage at the top was lost. By kick-off of this one, we were 5 points behind Bodø Glimt, and things didn't start well when Henriksen headed powerfully home from a corner after 11 minutes. A driving run and thunderous finish from Ulrik Matheson put us back on terms very early in the second half, but despite controlling the game, we were unable to find a winner. We took the lead thanks to a stunning free kick from the returning Blomberg after 18 minutes. Sadly, we only managed to hold on to it for 3 minutes. A well-placed pass from Linnes put Berisha in behind, and he finished confidently to level the score. Having been second best in the first half, we dominated the second, but couldn't break through for a winner. After the great form of the previous 2 months, it was back down to earth with a bump as we failed to win any of our games in November, whilst Bodø Glimt took maximum points and clinched the title with a game to spare. Given our top half ambitions at the start of the season, second place is something to be proud of, and we still had that cup final to look forward to. With nothing riding on this one, we named a second string lineup to reduce the risk of injury to any of our stars before the cup final, and for most of the game, it showed. Clumsy challenge from Velez gave Tromsø the chance to take the lead, which they duly did when Berget converted the penalty. Things got worse 10 minutes later when Krone was, at least from this footage, very harshly sent off for a second yellow. I'm sure Romsas's Oscar is in the post. Just when all seemed lost though, Seri Larsen headed home a corner Tromsø failed to deal with to level in injury time. 3 minutes later, Matheson pressed and won the ball back, which led to Jensen Vasberg playing Hegabo in, and the striker did what he does best to claim a dramatic winner. This was our first shot at a trophy, and we started brightly. Hegabo just unable to keep his header down from Simba's hanging cross in the 9th minute. A minute later, some measured build-up was kicked into gear by Matheson's ball to Velez. The wide man drove at the Strømsgodset defence, laid the ball back to Ottersen, who played it first time to Matheson. His low effort took a couple of ricochets and found its way into the net to open the scoring. Matheson was involved in the incident that gave us a chance to add a second, a foul on him from a corner being judged enough by the referee to earn us a penalty. Heltner Nielsen did his usual efficient job from the spot, and we were 2-0 up 5 minutes before the break. Hegabo came close to making it 3-0 within seconds of the restart, pouncing on a pass by Stengel but placing his shot wide. We didn't have long to wait for the third though. Matheson and Velez again combined to get the ball to Rasmussen, who spotted Simba's blindside run and laid the ball perfectly into his path. The young Swede fired home and the game was basically over, bar the shouting, before the half-time whistle had sounded. Strømsgodset barely threatened all day, managing just 2 wayward shots across the 90 minutes. One of their most threatening moments came in the 70th minute when, after some nice build-up, Stenevik played the ball in, triggering some penalty box pinball before Muller-Wolf finally cleared the danger. The left-back was in the thick of things again moments later, robbing Stenevik of the ball on halfway to begin a move that resulted in Matheson's long-range effort being clawed away by Meira in the Strømsgodset goal, in what proved to be the last real moment of note in the match. This episode's featured man is Ulrik Matheson. Ulrik had complaints earlier in the season about a lack of playing time, and has proven, since being made more integral to the side, that his complaints were justified. His form over the last few matches of the season, despite some disappointing results for the team, showed him to be a valuable member of the squad, especially with his goal of the week against Rosenborg and the opening goal in the cup final. The Carrilero role is one that is far from natural for him, but that he has taken to well, proving himself a very difficult man to get around with a 90+% tackle win ratio amongst the best in the league. Our plans for next season will see him feature in a much more attack-minded role, as he will switch to his best position on the right wing, competing with Blomberg for the starting spot. From the number of shots he was already taking and his general attacking contribution, we're hoping for big things from him in his new role. Sadly, having put ourselves in position to try and claim the title, we faltered at the last and had to settle for second. The Cup, though, provided cause for celebration and a spot in the Europa League for next season with the greater riches that promises. Before I leave you for this episode, I just wanted to give you an insight into the rules I'm working by with regard to transfers and scouting for this save. Unusually for me, I've given myself the luxury of leaving all the attributes visible. Normally I have to ask my scouts to watch players to find out exactly what their attributes are. This time I have that at my fingertips right from the off. To prevent myself from simply scouting the entire database of players for the best talent, I'm giving myself a few restrictions to try and maintain that bit more realism and challenge. With that in mind, I'm limiting myself to only being able to try and sign players that are found in the following ways. 1. Those our scouts already know about from their own knowledge base. 2. Players that are discovered from our recruitment focuses, such as the example shown here of a general search for European-based youngsters. 3. Young players that show up from this search, which looks for players 21 or below who have national team caps or 5 youth international caps and within an affordable price range. This is based on the fact that an astute scouting team would be keeping an eye on anyone making appearances for their country, so it's realistic we'd know of their existence. 4. Anyone who shows up in the player stats screens for any division in Norway. Again, it would be assumed that as these stats will be publicly available, it would make sense for our recruitment team to be keeping an eye on players doing well in various categories within our own country. 5. Anyone we get told about by agents or spot in the course of playing matches. One last caveat is that we must scout the player before signing. The example on screen, found via the search shown earlier in the wilds of the Uzbekistani League, reveals that whilst we know all his visible attributes, we have no idea of the pros and cons, and they can be game changers for a potential signing. One last quick thing to add, I am giving player contract negotiations to my director of football to do, partly because he needs to justify his wages somehow, and partly because I'd like to be able to blame someone else for losing good players due to poor negotiation skills. It also makes the quality of our director of football a bit more meaningful. To clarify, this is only negotiations for players we already have. I will still take charge of negotiating with new signings. Last thing I want is him blowing a deal for someone I had my heart set on signing. If anyone's going to make a mess of things around here, it's going to be me. Well, I hope that last little bit was informative and gives you some insight into how I'm going about this save and my efforts to maintain realism despite my near omniscience regarding player attributes. Thank you very much for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and join us next episode as we prepare to start our second season and catch up on all the transfer ins and outs. Bye bye for now.